Hey everybody, it's Max. Welcome back to Arkham Horror the card game. Today we're going to be playing a little more Edge of the Earth. Second playthrough with Winifred on Standard Solo. We're going to be choosing Standard difficulty, like I just said. We're going to jump right into the campaign. Before we go a whole lot further, here's the Solo Winifred deck I'm playing. I've got 25 automatics, 2 lockpicks that I'm taking in the thick of it. Lucky cigarette cases, Gregory Gry, a single lone wolf, a single streetwise, 2 backstabs, 3 using mark. That's my last XP. 2 intel reports, 2 sneak buys, 2 watch this, manual dexterity, 1 nimble, perception, quick thinking, and unexpected courage. And the random basic weakness that I ended up drawing is Dread Curse. During our prologue, this time we're going to not believe Professor Dyer, which is going to add an extra tablet token to the bag. So scenario 1, Ice and Death. We've read this before. We'll continue on just to read the section of Winifred Habermock that's unique to her. Buckle up, you tell the others as you spin the propeller and hop into the pilot seat. You motion to the pilot of the other plane, and both of you start your engines. One at a time, you take off from the ice shelf and soar into the opaque fog. You've never flown a plane of this size, but it's no match for your piloting skills. Within moments, you have a handle on the beast's clunky controls. The weather is another matter entirely. The rough Antarctic wind and harsh fog makes for poor flying conditions. The deeper you head through the beautiful and deceptive polar mirages, the more you struggle to keep a handle on the airplane. Dr. Kenzler peers at a window as you pass a magnificent view of distant mountains like vibrant, enchanted castles floating above the clouds. They're beautiful, she remarks quietly. They are nothing, Dyer begins. Wait until you see. And then the storm hits. The winter winds are so sudden and fierce that they almost force you out of your seat. Both planes shunt to and fro in the horrid winds, and you hear several of the passengers shouting behind you. What in the hell? Fredericks grunts. We have to head back, Claypool shouts. These winds will force us down if we keep going. We're so close, Dr. Kenzler growls bitterly. We don't have a choice, he yells back, but it's too late. The plane lurches towards the ground and you struggle in vain to regain controls. All of the passengers notice a dark shape in the sky at the same time you do. It is a massive shadow like a curtain drawn across the mountains, or perhaps the tattered wings of an antediluvian behemoth. It scowls at you with dreadful, hollow eyes. Then it reaches out and we crash. And let's see who died. So down here we've got our partners. Let's go ahead, flip that over, and choose one. Oh no, we lost Elia Ashevak in the crash. Anu lays by Elia's side, nudging him over and over in a vain attempt to get him to stop playing dead. The dog's whines are the only sound that any of you dare to make for some time. Finally, Takata sits down beside Anu and begins to run her gloved fingers through the dog's fur soothingly. Come on, girl, we gotta get moving. Oh, just leave the damn dog, Cookie says. The glares of the rest of the team quickly shut him up. It's several more minutes before Takata is able to coax Anu from Elia's body. Even as you trudge along the snow, the dog glances over her shoulder and whines, hoping that any second he'll stop playing pretend and run to catch up with you. Only once the body has faded into the opaque fog does the realization of his death set in for all of you. As for who I'm bringing with me in the partner setup, I'm going to bring Dr. Amy Kenzler for this very first foray. As you can see, I've got the Chaos bag set up over here with me, and let's take a look at our opening hand. Ooh, not so bad, eh? Lockpicks is very nice to see early. This is great encounter protection very early as well. Quick thinking and perception keep me going. Intel report, a little expensive right off the bat, and I think that I'll replace that with something else. Not a Dread Curse. I'll watch this, though. Yeah, I'll take a watch this. Of course, we begin play at the crash site. We've got a 4 doom threshold, and we're looking to find somewhere safe to set up camp. We have to get the highest shelter value of any location that we can find. Alright, well, let's start off with Winifred Habermock. We're going to go ahead and attempt to recover the spare parts, committing a quick thinking and a watch this. We're going to spend 2 resources on watch this for 4 potential payback. We draw a card because we've committed 2 cards, and we get arrogance to our hand. That's okay. So we're 7 against the difficulty of 3, and we would like to succeed by 2, but we'd more like to succeed by 1. Pull a 0, so we get our action back, and we get 1, 2, 3, 4 resources, and we've recovered the spare parts. Okay, next we'll go ahead and 1, 2, 3 play this lockpicks. Second, we'll move up a location to the treacherous path. 2 shroud, 1 clue location. After you reveal 1 or more frost tokens, we take a damage or horror for each token revealed, shelter 1. And now we have to go put into play anything that's connected to this triangle, which is the Rocky Crags, which you need to spend 1 clue to get into. Last action, we'll just go ahead and investigate the location, 3 against 2, and we'll be 2 against 2 with this committed, auto-fail it, and get rid of this arrogance. Okay, so we get upkeep. Sneak by. 1 Doom on the agenda. And for encounters we get Ice Shaft. Test 3 for each Frost token revealed. Take a damage. If you fail, take 2 damage. Well, let's go ahead and try not to fail that. We are currently 2 up, and I'm fine with 2 up as it is. 0. Easy game. So we'll go ahead and first action investigate with Dr. Amy Kenzler. Investigating 5 against 2. That is a -3, which is successful. We get to take a look at the top card of the encounter deck. It is a 0 visibility. As an additional cost for you to leave a location with a treachery attached to it, you must spend an action. At the end of your turn, test 2. If you succeed, discard 0 visibility. Well, I think I can manufacture a turn where I don't need to leave a location. I don't think that's unreasonable. So we'll leave that on top. Second action, we'll go ahead and take a move. Down to the Frozen Shores. It's a 2 Shroud location, plus 2 Shroud, and an encounter card is attached to it. Well, no encounter card attached to it yet. And finally, we'll just go ahead and draw a card, so we can do our lockpick next turn. Intel report, fine. So we'll do upkeep, Lucky Cigarette Case, that's what I've been looking for. 2 out of 4 Doom. And then an encounter card. Put this into play in your threat area as an additional cost for you to leave a location with the treachery attached to it. You must spend an additional action. Oh, there's no treacheries attached to here. So we just test 4 to remove this. Okay, fine. We'll go 1-2 for a Lucky Cigarette Case. This time we'll investigate with the lockpicks. We are at 8 against 2. -3, which is a successful investigate by 2. So we'll draw a card with Lucky Cigarette Case. Quick thinking. We'll get a clue from the location. I also forgot to put the broad snowdrifts into play when I moved in here, but that is here. And then I'll go ahead and move out of this location. Down to the broad snowdrifts, spending 1 clue to get in there, unlocking it. And now our map looks something like this. The snowdrifts is a 1 Shroud 2 clue location. After you successfully investigate, you can add a Frost token to the Chaos bag to discover 3 additional clues at the broad snowdrifts, but we won't be needing to do that. At the end of our turn, we test 2 Agility. We're going to go ahead and toss a Sneak By and a Quick Thinking into this to draw a card off of Winifred. And we're going to be testing 5, 6, 7, 8 against 2. -3. That definitely succeeds by 2, so we get a free action to use with Quick Thinking after this discards. We're going to go ahead and use an action to 1, 2, 3, play Gregory Gry. We'll get our upkeep down here on Winifred. Unexpected Courage is quite nice to see. Get up to 3 out of 4 Doom. And then encounter cards, we get an Antarctic Wind. The nearest location without a copy of this, investigators at the attached location cannot play cards or draw cards from their deck. A little bit of a bummer that, because I won't be able to trigger a Lucky Cigarette Case off of getting clues here, but I should be able to get enough clues to walk down to the Snowgraves and maybe do that down there instead. So we'll go ahead and investigate lockpicks. We are currently 8 against 1. We will spend 2 resources off Gregory Gry to try and get 2 resources off this. 0, so we get 2 resources off Gregory. Let me get the clue off the location. We'll go ahead and take that move action, like I said, spending our 2 clues to head down to the Snowgraves. It's a 3 Shroud, 2 clue location. After you discover the last clue from Snowgraves, shuffle the top 3 cards of the Tekalili deck into your deck without looking at them. In the supplies recovered section of the campaign log, record the green soapstone. We're going to go ahead and last action, investigate with Dr. Amy Kenzler. We're going to commit a perception, and we're also going to commit this intel report. That is going to put us at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We draw a card after we get both those commits in. 9 against 3, 0. So we succeed by 2, which draws us a card from Lucky Cigarette Case. We draw a card from Perception, and then we gain 1 clue off the location. Finally, we're going to look at this top encounter card. It's an Ancient Evils, and we're definitely going to get rid of that. Even though I'm pretty sure after this goes, we don't actually do this, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Because I don't, in fact, remember completely. Should have spent some money off Gregory. Forgot to do that. Okay, so that's that. Upkeep. We get a Nimble. That's nice. We get our 4th Doom, and then we advance. Hold on. Come see these. Yeah. Spawn a set-aside skittering nonsense at the lead investigator's location. Shuffle the remainder of the set-aside skittering nonsense enemies and the set-aside creatures in the ice encounter set into the encounter deck. This does not shuffle the discard pile, so that was a good thing to do. Great. We have a 7 Doom Threshold, and then we also draw another Antarctic Wind, which that other one should have been discarded, and I forgot to. So we'll do that now. Well, I've managed not to find any of the things I wanted to find by now, so that's interesting. I don't really want to evade him necessarily without getting this clue and doing this effect last. So I'm wondering if I take an attack of opportunity now to get the clue. And I think I will. I'm going to go ahead and use my last thing off Amy Kenzler. I'm going to put a damage and a horror on her. To investigate this location, 5 against 3. We're going to go ahead... God, I hate the look of this. We're going to commit an easy mark and an unexpected courage. That's going to put us at 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to put 2 on Gregory. We're going to draw a card from Winifred for committing 2 cards. 8 against 3. First action. -3, so we do succeed by 2. That's 5 against 3, so 1, 2 resources. And then we draw a card from Lucky from that, a manual dexterity, and then we get the clue off the location. Oh, well, Amy Kenzler's not dead yet. Let me undo that really quickly. Alright, and now that I've discovered the last clue from the location, we're going to shuffle the top 3 cards of the Tekelili deck into our deck and record that we've recovered the green soapstone. Next, we're going to evade the skittering nonsense because, well, I do have the automatic now, but I think I'd just as soon evade him and then deal again with him later. So we're going to evade 5, 6, 7, 8 with Nimble. When we commit those, we're going to draw a card. I'm going to spend 1 resource off of Gregory Gry to try to succeed by 1, and we are evading 8 against 4. Elder Sign. After this effect ends, for every 2 points you succeeded by, return a card you committed to this test to your hand. So we draw a card from Manual Dexterity for succeeding. We can move up to 3 locations after we've evaded him, so we'll evade him at the location like so. Hey, he didn't fall into the blessed container. Perfect. And then we will put both of those back into our hand and take that move. We're going to go ahead and move 1, 2, 3 locations, putting the Precarious Ice Sheet into play, which is connected to the Icy Wastes. And when you draw a Hazard Treachery, while here you can spend, or you can add a Frost token to cancel the effect and discard it. Okay, great. Shouldn't have drawn any of those draws while I was at Antarctic Wind location. Let me think about how I can rewind that. I think I drew these off of the Manual Dexterity and the Winifred Habermock ability. So we'll just go ahead and shuffle them back into the deck. And now that we're at this location, we'll just go ahead and use the lockpicks to test 8 against 4. I don't mind breaking a lockpick at this point. -2. Look at that, we don't. That was last action. And there's our clue. Okay, so we upkeep, and he readies. And we get a Takalili. Take a clue from your location. Okay, we'll just put that back if we need to. C'est la vie. That goes back underneath the deck there. 1 out of 7 Doom. We get 0 visibility put into play in your threat area. Also, this Antarctic Wind should be gone. Okay, so let's go ahead and lockpicks again. We're going to be 8 against 4 still. First action, 0. We draw a card from Lucky Cigarette Case. And we'll get that clue. And then we'll spend a clue to move into the new location. 2 Shroud. Treat the modifier of the first Frost token revealed. Each skill tested Icy Waste is a -3 instead of -1. And then we get a couple of new connections. Something like, but not precisely this, I guess. It starts to get messy pretty quick, doesn't it? And then we'll just go ahead and spend 4 resources to pick up both the clues on our location. So, the skittering nonsense. Fortunately, we haven't revealed this. But I think that he can walk through that, can't he? So, I think he's going to move there. And then next turn he'd be moving through that. Just because I haven't revealed them doesn't mean they can't get through them. Okay, upkeep for me. Get that. Oh, I forgot to test the 0 visibility. So this wouldn't be in my hand. And I'll just go ahead and commit. Let me think. Do I really want to do some commits for this? Yeah, well, I wouldn't have Lucky Cigarette Case up, but I will have these. And I'll spend like 3 resources off Gregory Gry. So I'll be at 9 against 2 when I do that test. And I'll draw a card. And would that have succeeded by 3? 9 against 2. Yes, that would have succeeded by 3. So I would have gained 1, 2, 3 resources. Okay. Perfect. 2 out of 7 Doom. And then in counter cards, we get Polar Vortex. When you end your turn at the attached location, each card you control with health, including your Investigator, takes 1 direct damage. At the end of the round, discard the Polar Vortex. Okay, let's go ahead and spend 2 clues to head up to that Icebreaker. This is test 4 Intellect to search the trapped ship for supplies. If you succeed, either remove 1 frost token from the chaos bag or record small radio in the recovered supplies section of the campaign log. Max 1 success per campaign. Shelter 5. We're going to go ahead and use the lockpicks to investigate 8 against 2. We'll just use this last dollar off of Gregory Gry to gain $1. He's all tapped out now, and we get that clue off the location. Forgot to use my lucky cigarette case for a card draw if succeeding met by so well. And then we're going to go ahead, and I'm probably going to regret this again. We're going to commit anything you can do better and an easy mark to draw a card with Winifred. The Dread Curse. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to be testing that ability on the location. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 against 4. Last action. 8 against 4. -3. That is successful. We'll go ahead and record that small radio in the campaign log. Okay, so this ding-dong is going to hunt up once towards us to the remnants of Lake's camp. Then we're going to get our upkeep, another easy mark. We're up to 3 out of 7 doom. And we get an Ancient Evils. That's a doom. Putting us at 4 out of 7. Okay, let's take a think. We're going to definitely use lockpicks to test 8 against 2 again. I don't think I want to commit both of these to get a new card, do I? I might, actually. I think I want to get more agility icons. And maybe burn through those technically lead cards that I got. So we'll go ahead and use the lockpicks. Will be... No, I think I got to save those for later investigates. So we'll just go ahead and do that. -2, so that's 6 against 2. And -3, so we do break a lockpick. I think I forgot to remove that last curse, so I'll just double check that. Yeah, I did forget to take that last curse, so let's re-pull that with the correct number. I'm pulling this again with 4 curses. A frost, which is a -1, and then a -1, so I don't do that, and I do get the clue. Okay. And of course, I forgot to draw a card with my lucky cigarette case, but we've got a perception. We're going to move back 1 location to the Icy Wastes. And then we're going to go ahead and spend 1, 2, 3, 4 clues to enter the barrier camp. Which is a 4 shroud, 3 per investigator clue location, shelter 7, parlay 4 willpower. Oh, well, I've used my anything you can do, so we're not doing that anytime soon. To convince some of the other explorers here to give you something useful if you succeed in the supplies recovered section of the campaign log, record dynamite. Okay, great. That's the end of my turn, so he's going to hunt one more time towards me. We're going to get our upkeep, which is a lone wolf. Okay, a little late for that, and I don't really exactly need the money anymore, so that's a decent agility icon to get rid of. 5 out of 7 doom. And then an encounter card. Dark Aurora. Test 3 willpower for each frost token. Take a horror. If you fail, take 2 horror. Well, we're just going to be failing that, so let's try and burn some curses. There's 1. And an Elder Sign. So we got -2, but then +1. So we're going to be taking 2 horror total, and we're going to put both of those on Dr. Amy Kenzler. Okay, our turn. We're going to go ahead and spend 1, 2, 3 for the lockpicks. We're going to attempt a lockpicks test. The first one, 8 against 4, -2, which does not break a lockpick and does get us a clue off the location. And then our other one, same deal, a frost token, which is -1, and then a -4, which breaks a lockpick and does not get a clue. The skittering nonsense is going to hunt onto us, where he's going to kill off Dr. Amy Kenzler. Sorry, Dr. Amy, but I kind of want your story rewards, and you are toast. Get upkeep for Winifred, gets us our Streetwise. 6 out of 7 doom, and then encounter cards we get a Polar Mirage, the nearest location with at least 1 clue and without a copy of Polar Mirage attached. You rat. Ah, this is the worst. I guess I should have expected this to happen, but now if I want to get a clue from there, I do have to lose all of the cards in my hand. So I think we're going to have to diddle around until the Terror of the Stars spawns, kill him, try and loop our deck for another intel report, and then pick those 2 clues up, and then resign here. Something like that. Anyways, it's time for us to kill this guy, if we can. So we're just going to go ahead and do what? First, we're going to attempt to evade him. We're going to be evading him at base 5, 6, 7 against 4. We'll draw a card from Winifred. -4. That fails. Great. Love to see that. We'll try to evade him again. Doing the same thing, and we'll put like $2 into this, because why not? Up by 2. Or sorry. We lose 2 resources from this Tekelili card. And we are at 5, 6, 7 against 4, up by 3, excuse me. A -2, and then a -4. That gets rid of the next curse. We'll just shove those into the discard pile for now. And then finally, what will we do? We'll just evade him. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter to evade him too badly, does it? I need this money for the backstabs, though. Maybe we'll just toss a punch at him. Toss a punch at him, 1 up. -2. Shuffle the top card of the Tekelili deck into your deck without looking at it. Well, what can I say? He punches me for 1 and 1, which is going to deal... is that just going to kill off Gregory? Yeah, let's just kill off Gregory with that. Get an upkeep on Winifred, which is an unexpected courage. That's very useful, I think. And then we get our 7th Doom. We advance. Spawn the set-aside Terror of the Stars enemy at the revealed location with the highest shelter value, which is going to be exactly where I'm at. Now, he is massive, but I'm just going to put him engaged with me here. So, I want to be a little more careful about this one, I think. Let's think about how I want to do this. I definitely want to go 1, 2, 3 and backstab him. We're at 5 against 4. We can be 7 against 4, 8 against 4. Or 8 against 4 with the nimble and run away to come deal with him later. But then we still have the skittering nonsense on us, which is kind of a pain. But I feel like this is kind of my best option. So we'll do 8 against 4. We draw a card because of committing 2 cards. Half your shelter value rounded up. I'm in shelter 7, so it's a -4, but that does hit for 3 damage. Now, can I hit the next one? Basically no, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll try to evade him. We'll be 5 against 3. -2, so he is evaded. I'll just leave him like that. And then we will once again, let's think. I think we will toss a punch at skittering nonsense again. 3 against 2. -1, that is a hit, so that's not the worst. Okay. He punches me for 1 and 1. This guy readies. We do upkeep. I get another 45 auto. So I do have 2 cards to commit to this next backstab on this guy, and that's pretty good. Get 1 out of 7 Doom. Probably more enemies soon, though, eh? Whiteout. Ah, yuck. That's not what I wanted to see at all. Okay, that gives us even worse margins on this next test, which is a big bummer. So I think that it's unfortunately all we can really do, as much of a bummer as that is, but we'll have to go ahead and try it. I could take 1 draw, I think. Does 1 draw kill me? 1 draw damn near kills me, and if I did 1 draw, I'd have to kill this guy as well. So I think I just have to go 1, 2, 3 and do the backstab on this guy. I'm at 4 against 4, and then I get 5, 6 against 4, and hope to God that that test is successful. Oh, yes. Okay, so 6 damage. He's toast. Get a VP off of him. I did, of course, forget to do my draw from Winifred, and then I'll get my Lucky Cigarette Case draw, which takes a damage on me. Now, oddly enough, and I didn't know this, Nimble fires when you're not doing an evade on backstabs. I guess it's not that I didn't realize it didn't fire when you weren't doing evades. It's that it only occurred to me that it fires during evades and pilfer and treacheries. It didn't occur to me that it would fire during a backstab. But I don't know that I really need to move by 2, because I pulled a 0 there. Do I need to move 2 locations? I don't think so. I could try to dump that guy back here and then just walk back over and get the clues before he does anything to me. But I'd be testing even against him with a manual dexterity committed. Oh no, but I'll be away from this, so I'll be able to 3 up with a manual dexterity committed. Okay. So maybe I will do that. I'll move 2 locations with the nimble. And then I'll go ahead and evade him 5, 6, 7 against 4. Plus 1. Great. So he's evaded, and I draw a card with this, and that gives me a horror, and I think all the Tekalilis might be dealt with by now. Then last action, I'll just move back to the Icy Wastes. At the end of the round, this whiteout's going to go away, so let's just get rid of that now. That was our last action. We get Upkeep, another Grey Grugrai. Okay. 2 out of 7 Doom. Let's see what we get. Another Ancient Evils. Ancient Evils is actually fine because I'm just about done here. So we'll move to the last location. Up to here with the Fatal Mirage. And fortunately, I don't really care about cards in my hand anymore so long as I can get these clues. And now all I have to do is get these last little bit here. We'll go ahead and use the lockpicks with a Perception and a Grey Grugrai committed. We'll draw a card by committing, which is not a big deal because we're going to discard this anyways when the Fatal Mirage fires, but we'll be like 11 against 4, minus 4. So we do succeed by 2. We'll get the Lucky Cigarette Case draw. Again, when we pick up this clue, boom, these all get discarded. And then we will fire the Perception afterwards to get a card draw. Excellent. Easy mark. And then we'll investigate again, 8, 9 against 4. Oh, the auto fail. Okay, well, we need one more turn, but that's not that big of a deal. The Skittering Nonsense chases us 1 location. This Fatal Mirage is gone after we discarded all those cards in our hand. We get our Upkeep down here for another Grey Grugrai. Oops, I forgot to take the glue off the location there. Up to 4 out of 7 Doom. And then encounter cards. Kindred Mist. The nearest location without a copy of this. When one of our cards from the Tekalili deck would be shuffled into your deck while you're at the attached location, draw them instead, placing them on the bottom of your deck instead of the bottom of the Tekalili deck. Discard this at the end of the round. Well, it's not bothering me too much. We're just going to go ahead and do what I said. We're going to be first action using a lockpicks 8 against 4, 0, boom. There's that last clue we needed. And then we'll do our resign action. We're all at the same location. Location has no clues. We resign, set up a camp. We each resign. And we get R1. Sweet. In your campaign log, write camp, and next to it, record the name of the location the investigators resigned at, which is Barrier Camp. So we get to write Camp Barrier Camp in the campaign log. And this is the camp for the remainder of Ice and Death. Shelter value of 7. We earn experience equal to the camp shelter value, 7. Plus 1 for the card in the victory display. And then in the expedition team section of the campaign log, we record the amount of damage and horror on each partner asset in play. But we did lose Dr. Amy Kenzler, but that's fine. Proceed to checkpoint 1, the disappearance. Find and gather the story assets corresponding to the surviving members of the expedition team. Shuffle them and randomly select a number of them equal to your camp's shelter value. Those characters are safe. Well, we have 7 characters left, and we got 7 shelters. So all of them are safe. We head to disappearance 2. Skip Ice and Death, Part 2 in its entirety. The missing team members surely could not have survived the night. In the expedition team section of the campaign log, cross off the name of each character who's marked as MIA. Well, none of them are. And then we proceed immediately to checkpoint 2, the attack. Woohoo. Which is a shame, because I probably could have done really good on this scenario. But whatever. Barely have time to rest before the sound of something erupting out of the ground nearby shakes you to your core, blah, blah, blah. Run for your lives or stand and fight? That's a great question. I think I'm going to go ahead and choose the stand and fight option, but I'm fairly certain that I'm going to be just trying to get as many supplies as I can and getting the hell out of Dodge rather than fighting these guys for the extra XP. Anyways, that went a lot better than expected, to be honest with you. I was pretty worried about Winifred with her 1 willpower, but intentionally killing off Kenzler definitely gave me a good horror outlet. In fact, I'm kind of a little more stressed about health than I think I realized I'd need to be. So I'll have to think about what to do with my upgrades. Anyways, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time in Ice and Death Part 3.